Welcome to the Select Board meeting for Monday, May 17th, 2021. We will begin tonight's meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America,
and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation,
under
God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So tonight's meeting is a short one. We will begin tonight's meeting with annual town meeting warrant for June 12th, 2021. We're going to determine the order in which the articles appear, direct posting, and adopt recommendations on articles, and then our meeting for this evening will adjourn. So if you could, Mr. Ansaldi, start us off.
Sure, Madam Chair. Everybody sees my screen okay, correct?
Yes.
Great. All right. So the first item that we have is determine the order in which the articles appear. So I'm sure you all have had the opportunity to look over that in your packet. I've listed all of the 39 articles up on the screen right now for you to review. I don't know if there's any changes that you wanted to make.
Okay. Any recommended changes from board members?
No recommended change as long as we're following the usual pattern, and yeah, it looks like we are. Finance stuff up front and planning stuff toward the back.
Yep.
Curious why we have two articles for the pollinator friendly community.
Just a typo.
Oh, okay. So is one of them not in the warrant, or?
Yeah, it'll only be one of those. So
Okay.
take 38 out. 39 doesn't matter.
Great.
Okay. So 39. Okay. Other than that, no recommended changes.
All right. So then we have a motion. Paul, it's up on the screen.
Yep, okay. Move that the select board vote to approve the order in which articles appear on the warrant for the June 12th, 2021 annual town meeting as presented, and to direct that the constable post said warrants forthwith.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor, Mr. Nordhaus,
Yes.
Mr. Knox,
Aye.
Mr. DeCoste,
Chuck DeCosta's aye.
and Mr. Glavy.
Aye.
And Cindy Napoli is aye. The motion is approved as written.
Thank you. And the next item we have, and the final item we have, is to adopt recommendations on articles. And I prepared a bunch of slides that we can just flip through them with the motions. I know you didn't have motions in your packet, so I'll start. So I put Article 1 and Article 2 together, as I'm sure that those are normally easy articles and usually recommended by the board.
Straightforward. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the second one especially, there's no real recommendation to make. It's either committee
No, right.
or they don't.
Yeah. I want to look back, Paul. It's something that we've done in the past, so I just put it up there. If you want, you want to. If you don't have to on any of these articles tonight.
Yeah. In this case, I mean, what are we recommending?
Right.
Nothing.
Yeah, I would just take that language out of there, Anthony.
Yep, that's just a motion. We'll skip over those. That's fine. Next article is Article 3. It's bills of prior year. If there's any questions, Cheryl is also on the call.
Do we know if we have any at this point, Anthony?
Yes, we do. We have, Cheryl, was it 2 articles? There's a bill for $177 to pay an FY20 bill owed by the Board of Health for rabies testing. Was there another one, Cheryl?
Yeah, there's actually 3. Let me just pull the report up really quickly. We have the rabies testing one. We have one from 2020 that was for interim building commissioner services, and $2,604 bill to be paid by PRCE for equipment rentals. So we have 3.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any questions on that article? Okay.
Okay,
Are we ready?
Madam Chair, are you interpreting that if we're not saying otherwise, that the assumption is we're going to be recommending that, correct?
Right.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Madam Chair, in addition, we briefly talked today. Do you want to see if anyone wants to volunteer for to take on the?
Do you want, yeah, thank you. Yeah, does the board want to assign articles as we go through them this evening, or do you want to wait till our next meeting to do that?
I'd say wait till next meeting. Yeah, that
Okay.
way we can kind of mark up the list of 39 that Anthony has, and we can, if there's something that we specifically want, we can debate that at the next meeting.
Okay,
Can we perhaps get to that end, and I don't have a problem with that, maybe Anthony and Joe could send us a reminder email in advance so that we can have a shot at doing just that, sending in our recommendations so somebody can sort it out in advance, or our request, I should say.
Yeah.
okay, perfect.
Good idea.
Do that.
Okay.
We taking a motion on this, Paul?
Well, as I say, just for moving things along, maybe we should just assume that if we haven't said otherwise, that we're going to. Do you need a motion here? I guess.
Yeah.
Could we compile a list, Anthony, Mr. Ansaldi, and then just take the motion at the end?
It's up to you. I have it set up so you can take the motion quick and we can move along because there's different.
All right, if you've got it set up that way, then all right, then that's fine. I'll do that. Then I'll move that the select board vote to support Article 3 in the June 12th, 2021 annual town meeting warrant and direct the preparation of motion to be moved and seconded by the select board.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. All those in favor, Mr. Nordhaus,
Yes.
Mr. Knox, Mr. DeCoste,
Chuck DeCoste is aye.
Mr. Glavy,
Aye.
and Cindy Napoli is aye. The motion is approved as written. And now we're on to our, the next article.
Article 4 is the annual budget, the FY22 operating budget.
I'll move that the select board vote to support Article 4 in the June 12th, 2021. I'm going to do this 38 times.
Yeah,
Good thing I'm over my sore throat. I
Right.
like your idea, Madam Chair, but anyway, the annual town meeting warrant and direct the preparation of motion to be moved and seconded by the Finance Committee.
Second.
All those in favor, Mr. Glavy,
Aye.
Mr. DeCoste,
DeCoste is aye.
Mr. Knox,
Aye.
Mr. Nordhaus,
Aye.
and Cindy Napoli is aye. The motion is approved as written, and we're on to the next one.
Madam Chair,
As Paul is the future clerk, maybe you and I can trade.
or why don't we just do that? Just compile them and just say we move that the select board vote to support.
Articles, boom, 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 boom.
Boom,
Yeah,
boom,
that-
boom, boom.
Well, Anthony said he had some of them worded in specific
It's
ways.
fine. It's just if somebody's in opposition of an article, then you may want to just take an individual vote. If not, if it seems to be the general
But they
consensus.
can
Well,
indicate
the ones that we're in
at the time.
favor of, can you just compile that, a list of those right now, Mr. Ansaldi? And if there's one that we're gonna not,
Yeah, I'm saying if
Worked on
there's
this
one out of 5 of you, or 2 out of 5, or 3 out of 5 that don't want to support an article, that's what I'm saying. So as we go
Okay.
through it, if it's unanimous, great. If it's not, then we,
Speak
Okay.
up. That's all. Speak up.
We can
Yeah.
note that then.
yeah,
Right.
that's fine.
okay,
Article 5, select board article, it's the revolving funds. It's in the annual town meeting every year.
okay,
Thumbs up.
all right.
Yep.
Article 6, this is the Board of Water Commissioners article. It's for the FY22 Water Enterprise Fund operating budget.
We
Any,
usually have a recommendation on that, do we?
Yes. You have in the past.
Okay, but I don't remember that specifically since it's not our issue.
You don't have to take one.
No, I just whatever the norm was, I'm happy to stay with. I just wanted to be a little clear on that. I have no problem with it.
All good.
Okay, moving along. I'll accept that as a unanimous.
Yes.
Article 7, it's another Board of Water Commissioners. This is the FY22 Sewer Enterprise Fund operating budget.
Same thing. Yep, no problem.
Okay,
They've approved it, we approve it. Go.
Moving right along. Article 8 is the Park and Rec Commission article, and it's for the FY22 Park Recreation and Community Education Enterprise Fund operating budget.
Fine.
Yep.
okay,
Article 9, Select Board FinCom, and it's the FY22 capital items from available funds.
okay,
All good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Article
as
10
long as we remove the quote unquote slush fund, I'm good with it. And we did, so.
Article 10, Article 10, so Select Board, this is the Senior Center Project article.
Yep.
can we, Anthony, is it too late to change? We had talked about, we didn't like the word feasibility study.
So Cindy, actually, that's part of the Mass General Law, how they listed the Inspector General's
is?
office.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay,
Good to know.
All right. Article 11, it's a Select Board. That's the host community agreement with Northbridge, and that's the appropriation of available funds for the capital projects.
And again, all these, while we're seeing the motions here, we're going to see the detail on the actual warrant. Is that correct?
Yes, it was in your packet, and it will also be in the town meeting report with the plain language explanation with that as well.
Right.
Joe sent an email. Joe sent an email with a Word document earlier today that has it's basically the final town meeting report. And it has all of the,
I did see that. Yeah.
yeah, the breakouts of all the line items for all these articles.
Yeah. So if there are any changes to those multiple line item articles, this question is to Anthony.
Yeah, we would show you the detail, Paul. This is something that, you're right, you already seen. If there was any changes, we'd say, this was a change. But
Right. And from here on out, it would require somebody's formal action to make a change.
Right.
Right.
okay,
Yep,
Okay.
this is those 4 projects. If you want me to explain anything, just Cheryl and I, we're happy to do that. So,
any questions on this?
No, that's fine.
sorry. Article 12 is the Community Preservation Committee's article, and that's for the FY22 Community Preservation Budget.
Okay,
Yep.
Article 13. Article 13 is the Park and Rec Commission, Select Board CPC, and this is to amend a prior town meeting vote for Long Lake renovation project. And that was from Article 8 of the May 6, 2019 annual town meeting.
any questions on this one?
Sorry,
Okay.
the dogs are barking. The underlined items are the ones being changed, correct? The underlined sentences?
Yes.
Correct. Yes.
Yep. Okay. No problem.
Article 14, this is the Select Board Personnel Boards. This is the FY22 compensation grid. The reason why right now that you still see space and the space for the percentage is because right now we're still negotiating the collective bargaining agreements with the 4 unions. Normally what happens is the town employees that are not unionized normally follow along with the unions are getting. So right now we're still working on that. There's nothing, we would actually present this article the same as last year and then make adjustments. Hopefully we could settle the contracts and take and amend this and have a handout for town meeting. If we can't, then this would have to wait till the fall, and then we'd be still negotiating with unions, and there'd be retro involved, and town employees would follow right in line with that, with the unions. Hopefully we can get this settled, and we're gonna work hard to try to make that happen, so.
Okay, any questions or comments on this one? Okay,
Article 15 is the Park and Rec Commission. This is FY21 retained earnings. This article is just in case the Park and Rec wasn't able to had a deficit this year, that they would be using their retained earnings to balance their budget for the end of the year. So this is a just in case article.
okay,
Okay. Article 16 is the select boards. This is the fund collective bargaining agreements. Obviously, we have some promising, looking forward, but, right now you don't have anything. So I would say this is one that you're not taking action on until town meeting. Any objection to that?
Okay.
Okay. Article 17 is the select board. This is the use of the debt exclusion stabilization fund for the FY22 excluded debt. This is an article that's in the annual town meeting every year.
Okay.
Next one, Article 18 is the select board stabilization fund. This goes in line with our financial policies of putting money into the stabilization fund. Again, this is every year, similar article.
Okay.
Next one is Article 19. It's the select board. This is the capital stabilization fund. This is transferring money from the undesignated fund balance into the capital stabilization fund. Again, this is another article that we do annually.
Okay.
Article 20 is the select board's article. This is to do the local option to accept the fourth paragraph of Chapter 40, Section 5D of Mass General Laws, which allows the select board to later determine a stabilization fund for fees. I know we talked about the marijuana excise or HCAs. So this just allows us to do it, but we'd have to go to another town meeting if you wanted to do it, say for marijuana excise or an HCA. We would have another article at a future town meeting to address this. This just starts the ground running.
Okay.
Article 21 is a Conservation Commission's article. This is the FY22 Conservation Commission open space budget.
Are there do we have any specifics on what this is going to be used for, or is this what they always get?
Cheryl?
So it's not necessarily what they always get. It does vary year by maybe a few thousand or so. But they
Okay.
use it for, trail signs and any kind of work at any of the open space that they have.
Thank you.
Yep.
It's fun.
Article 20, select board article. This is did I just do this?
Yeah, you're on 22 now, I think.
I'm hitting backwards. I'm sorry. Must be late. Thank you, Matthew. Article 22 is the select board. This is a senior citizen and veterans tax work off abatement programs. This is an annual article as well.
Okay.
Article 23, it's a select board article. This is the adjusted income and asset limits for tax abatements. This is the one where we currently have 41C, Mass General Law, Chapter 59, Section 5, Clause 41C. In order to do 41C and a half, we talked about this, you need a ballot. So for the time being, we would adopt Clause 41D, which would raise the income and asset levels. And at a future town meeting, we would address and go to 41C and a half and look at a ballot question for that one.
Mr. Insaldi, did you just say 41D?
41D, yes.
Because it says 41C. Oh, wait, 41D. Okay, never
Yeah, we
mind.
currently operate under 41C.
41C, and it's going to 41D. Gotcha. Okay.
Yep. Okay. Article 24, it's a select board article. This is to use free cash to fund the Highway Chapter 90 deficit. Cheryl can explain this if anybody needs it. It was just an accounting snafu on TBW.
Okay.
Article 25, it's a Littleton LCTV Advisory Committee. This is the FY22 LCTV receipts reserved for appropriation from the Public Education and Government Access Fund.
Okay.
Article 26 is a select board article. This is a mill pond dredging to rescind the vote and transfer of funds.
Didn't we do this at the last town meeting? the same one. I seem to recall a very, very similar article 6 months ago.
So they had actually 2 articles that they needed to rescind, which they didn't realize. So they rescinded one last time and then realized this one. So
Good memory, Matthew.
Moving along. Article 27 is the Cemetery Commission's article, and that's to make some general bylaw amendments regarding the cemeteries.
Okay,
Article 28, the Select Board. This is general bylaw amendments. It goes in line with our reorganization of our finance department, changing the treasurer to treasurer collector and assistant treasurer to assistant treasurer collector.
okay,
Article 29, it's a planning board article. This is the stormwater management and erosion control bylaw amendments.
This is the one Rebecca brought us up to speed on.
Yes, exactly, Chuck.
okay,
Article 30, it's the planning board. Planning board's article, and this is the Littleton Station 40R. Chuck. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, I have some questions on this one, Madam Chair. If we're gonna put anything on pause, do we want to come back to it and keep going with the others, or?
yeah, I think,
Way to do it.
I agree with you on that, Mr. DeCoste. I'd like to put a pause on this one.
Okay, jump over to 31.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Article 31 is another planning board article. This is the Senior Residential Development Apartments Amendments.
okay,
Article 32, it's another planning board article. And this is to incorporate the marijuana delivery into our existing zoning article.
okay,
Article 33 is a select board article. This is to transfer land to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. And this has to do with 119 Tehadawon. Article 34, select board. This is a deed in lieu of foreclosure. So just to update the board with this one, the estate of Walter Lennon actually ended up getting a buyer for those 2 lots. So you have 2 options. You could take the motion that I have here and we could take it out of the warrant, or we could just skip over it at town meeting.
So we'll get whatever back taxes that we were,
Yeah, they paid him today, Chuck.
okay.
okay. What's the favor of the board? Want to just,
Doesn't sound
Leave
like
it
we
and
need to
skip
make a
over it.
motion on that one, right?
Well, you could open the warrant and take it out, or we could just pass over it at town meeting. It's either way. It doesn't matter.
Well, if we're going to print, why put it in there? Why confuse people?
And take it out.
Let's withdraw it.
okay,
Want to read that motion?
please.
Yep, then I'll read that. Move that the select board vote to open the warrant to remove Article 34 and close said warrant.
Second,
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor, Mr. Nordhaus,
aye.
Mr. Knox,
Aye.
Mr. DeCoste,
Dr. Coast is aye.
Mr. Glavy,
Aye.
and Cindy Napoli is aye. The motion is approved as written. Next slide.
Thank you. Article 35, it's a select board article. This is the sale of small lots that goes with the abutter lot sales program.
It's good.
Article, oh, sorry.
No, we're good.
Okay. Article 36 is a select board article. This is the, has to do with the land use department and the reorganization of that.
Okay,
Article 37, it's a select board article. It's a zoning and general bylaw amendment, and it's just really renaming the highway department to the Department of Public Works.
Some
Okay.
questions about that as well.
oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah. Well, what was our motivation for doing that? Because it's not a Department of Public Works. Department of Public Works generally has the water and sewer and, I mean, we are parks, everything falls under a Department of Public Works, whereas we've got something less than. So what is the,
Well, I mean, if we adopted the bylaw, the statute that provides for a Department of Public Works, then what you say is true, because that's what's in there. But we're free to call our department as we structure it, a Department of Public Works. And I think Chris would prefer, well, two things. One is we have language that says both things throughout websites,
Yeah.
bylaws, etc. And two, I think it puts Chris on more of a equal footing with his peers.
And Chuck, just to add what Paul just said, is Chris was hired as Director of Public Works. And
That's how it was posted, I believe.
right, that's how it was
Yeah.
posted. So
There's been some inconsistencies in the language, so this is just clearing that up.
Okay.
okay, all right. Article 38 is the soil removal bylaw amendment. And last but not least is Article 39, which is the citizen petition. Citizen petition that you heard last week declaring Littleton to be a pollinator-friendly community.
I'm sure I like that, but not having had any real presentation on it, and since it is a citizen petition, I just assume not take a position on that. Or
We actually, did you not see the presentation? Because she did give us one.
Paul had cut out last week. Paul, you were.
Oh, I think you,
Right,
yeah, because you
right.
had had your,
I was in delirium at that point.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay.
All right, so I apologize for getting that part wrong, but if the board is inclined to support it, that's fine with me.
Well, do we not want to set that precedent since we haven't done that in the past?
Oh, as far as supporting a citizen petition in
Yeah.
general? Yeah, I can't recall when we have supported one.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. It doesn't need to be interpreted as being opposed to it. It's kind of like it's between the citizen and the voters. It's really not our thing, you know.
You don't have to take a position on that.
Yeah.
What's that, Joe?
We can present it that way.
So I
Okay.
prefer to leave it off the list, all things being equal.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right. All right, and that's the articles. I think that you passed on the 40R and the other one.
That's the only one that we wanted to discuss is Article 30.
Right.
Correct.
Okay.
The new Article 30, right? Because I think on our earlier list.
Yes, we've been working on this right to the end today. So as presented in the slides,
Yes, okay.
I can go back.
Okay.
How do you want to proceed, Madam Chair?
Would you like, we can have the discussion about Article 30 now? Before
Okay,
we,
great.
okay, so do you want to lead us off, Mr. DeCoste, or?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I kind of in line with our conversation with the employees relative to the personnel bylaw. There was some questions as to whether or not the employees were well enough informed in order for us to move forward with that article. I kind of feel like we're in the same position here with this article. We don't have the ability to table this article, but I think that just from speaking with people, the public does not feel as though they're well educated relative to this article. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and I think it'd be important for us to spend some time to bring folks up to speed and be a little more inclusive relative to the area. When we started this whole process with the station area and the station area working group, we were talking legitimately about, as Cindy used to call it, West Acton. I'm okay. West
Littleton.
Yeah, so that whole area, we
Right.
liken it to West Acton, but
Right.
and trying to paint that area with a broader brush to be able to give us some flexibility and more flexibility to get things done with a grander vision. This article, I think would be better suited to take no action this evening, just to give the planning board the opportunity to kind of maybe they can do some sort of outreach. I personally think that it might be I definitely think that if we in fact want to pass an article to make some changes in that area, then we should take a similar action to what we do with the personnel article, and see if we can convince the folks on the planning board to hit the brakes and hit the pause button and work for the next couple of months to educate the public, get more input, and find a way to make sure that we are able to do something down there, because I'm not entirely sure that if we were to go forward in June with this article, although we only have to get 50% of the vote, I feel like we'd be shoving it down people's throats because there's not enough education. People don't know what they're voting on necessarily. Most of the information from the folks that I've spoken with is wrong information, and I'd rather get it right. And I think the way to do that is to work with the planning board to try to get this pushed out to the fall, and see if we can massage this a little bit to make sure it's the right thing for the town.
Right. So thank you, Mr. DeCosta. I agree with you. It's similar to what transpired with form-based code.
Right.
I think the planning board had realized that they didn't have, there was a lot of opposition to that originally, and it was, because of a lack of education with the public. They just felt like they weren't informed enough. And I'm getting the same sense about this project as well. So I agree with you. I'd like to, maybe just sit back as a board and not take any action on this, and see, maybe have some continued discussions with the planning board and see what they come up with respect to addressing some of the residents' concerns at this time. And maybe it is better to bring it back in the fall if that's what they choose to do. So at this point, I'd rather just not take any action on this article personally. I don't know if other board members have any thoughts.
If I could just quickly, I agree with what's being said entirely. I want to make sure that we don't say that we're against it, because I want to work with the planning board with this. I want to make that clear that it's just a case that we'll take no action right now until we as a board and the public have a more educated view on this.
Thank you.
My position very similar. I think it's prudent not to take a position, and similar to what Joe said, and I'm sure everybody's in agreement here, that we value our working relationship with the planning board, and appreciate that just by the nature of what it is they deal with, they oftentimes have the most complicated articles, and that's not an easy ball to carry in advance, and it's a painful process. So, I by the same token, legitimate concerns raised by residents, I hear them, and I'm mindful of that. And, I think, for the task at hand here, the appropriate thing to do is not take a position, but as we all acknowledge, it's the planning board's call what to do. And I'm aware that there's a meeting tomorrow, or there's a meeting coming up at some point that might impact that. But at the moment, no, I wouldn't want to take a position.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Nordhaus?
I think I disagree. I think this is the result of following the master plan, the recommendations of the master plan, which could not have been more widely distributed and sort of advertised around town. I don't necessarily think that this has to go on the article. I think that the statements about it being perhaps shot down because people don't understand it are completely valid. I will say it's very frustrating that people only get involved when suddenly something's about to happen rather than from the beginning. And I'm sure all of you are familiar with that. I also think there's a small group of people who are directly impacted by this, and I'm sympathetic to their plight, but I also don't want to overlook what will happen to everybody else in town if we don't start changing the way we develop. And all of our open space is gone, and all of our farms are gone, and that affects everybody in town. So let's be realistic about who is complaining and why. Let's be realistic about why we're doing this, which is that we are following the will of the people as represented by the master plan. So I don't mind not taking any action. I don't mind delaying this until the fall, but I want to make sure that we all are clear on what to do going forward.
Okay.
Well stated, Matthew. I mean, I don't necessarily know enough to agree with all of it, but I do want to acknowledge thank you. You brought an aspect of that to the table that hadn't come up yet.
Right. Well, I mean, right. And I don't want to debate it now, but having read the Littleton Station area report and what's being presented to the voters, I don't necessarily agree that it is what's in line with the findings of that report, having been involved with that study early on, and really that it's not really fulfilling the vision of the master plan in complete form and maximizing that part of town. So that's why I want to definitely continue discussions with the planning board about this project going forward. And at the end of the day, it's their decision whether they want to move forward with this article or not. But I think we're pretty much in consensus that we're not going to take any action on it at this time.
I think that's the best way to go.
Yeah,
Madam Chair, if I may.
sure.
So tonight then you would take no action on Article 30, which is Littleton Station 40R, as well as the collective bargaining agreement article, as well as the compensation grid, because we're still working on that. I wouldn't want you to take support right now 0 if that's not what we end up with. So is that okay?
And the pollinator article.
Right.
You're also
The
not.
pollinator, yes. Thank you, Matthew.
Okay.
Yes. And nothing on Article 1 and Article 2. We're going to pass on those.
Just to be clear, we're not taking action on the pollinator article because the precedent is we don't take positions on citizens petitions. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we all support it, Matthew. I think it's just a matter of.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to, just in case, I don't want to think that we're like,
I
we
get
were
it.
we were all for it last week and suddenly,
Yeah.
we don't want it.
So we have everything that we need here in the town administrator's office to work on getting this to the printer and making the last minute changes, but we will need the next day or two is each select board member to come in and sign the warrant so we can post that.
I think we need a blanket motion, Anthony, before we do any of that,
Oh,
right?
yes, yeah. Let me give you
I don't know how this works to form, but I'd make a motion that the board recommend the article.
I have something, Paul, if you want.
Okay, good. Well, that's good because I'm fumbling here. So.
All right, hold, give me a second. You were doing great.
And Matthew, you didn't get a chance to act yet. Do you want to make the motion when it gets it up on the screen?
Yeah, it would be exciting. It would be my first motion.
So we can work off of this one and move it to select with vote to support
The old bait and switch. You didn't.
articles. And you can just do with the exception if you want, Matthew.
Do you want to just give me the ones that we're not taking any position on?
Yeah, 14, 16, 30, and 39.
Okay.
And 1 and 2, Anthony, right?
And 1 and 2, yeah.
And 1 and 2. I move that the select board vote to support all articles in the June 12th, 2021 annual and special town meeting warrants, except for articles 1, 2, 14, 16, 30, and 39, and direct the preparation of motions to be moved and seconded by said board.
A question, Anthony, is it still called Article 39, even though we have one less article in there?
Right.
That'd be a sick.
Just
right.
to make sure that they know the motion, their select board's taking no action on what we call right now Article 1, which is town offices, Article 2, which is annual reports, Article 14, which is the FY22 compensation grid, Article 16, to fund the collective bargaining agreements, and Article 30, Littleton zoning, Littleton Station 40R, and Article 39, which is citizen petition resolution declaring the town of Littleton to be a pollinator-friendly community. Just to make sure that
so those numbers will remain, correct?
Yeah, they could be the change, but at least we got the titles right, Paul.
Okay, well then I'll second that motion with that explanation out there.
Right. So motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor, Mr. Nordhaus,
Aye.
Mr. Glavy,
Aye.
Mr. DeCoste,
Dr. Costa's aye.
Mr. Knox,
Aye.
and Cindy Napoli is aye. The motion is approved as dictated. And That concludes our meeting for this evening. The select board will be back next Monday on the 24th. Mr. DeCoste?
I know this is probably a little bit out of order, but it's not something that's on the agenda, but if I could just make mention of the fire that took place yesterday and maybe just put out a call to arms to the residents. Is that something that we can do?
Sure.
As many know, I know we know just because we're our public safety, fire chief and public safety personnel are good about communicating with us, but there was a fire yesterday on Florence Street yesterday morning. The Smith family lost their home. Like I said, 9 o'clock yesterday morning. They have a young daughter who attends Russell Street School. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Daryl and Kara are active volunteers for Littleton Athletic Boosters Association. They are currently staying with family locally, and many people have reached out to us and asked what they can do to help, meal plans and GoFundMe's and things like that. At this point, though, nothing like that has been set up, but because there's been such an outpouring, it's been tremendous from the community. If anybody does want to do something, the best way to help right now is to provide gift cards like a CVS card, Target, Walmart, Kohl's, Market Basket, local restaurants, Visa cards. They literally lost everything. Some of the neighbors were able to scurry and get some of the laundry from the basement, I believe, and wash it for them, but they lost everything. So they're not really sure what they need right now. If you are going to try to help out and donate a gift card or more, your donation can be left in the mailbox at 12 Long Lake Road. Alicia McDonald has offered her mailbox as a holding spot, and she's kind of running point. So 12 Long Lake Road for any gift cards for the Smith family. And this is where Littleton steps up. So just wanted to reach out and thank everybody for their generosity for, everything we do. We tend to step up and answer the bells. So thank everybody. And, again, stronger together. Let's help this family get through this and, keep them in your thoughts or in your prayers, whatever it is that you do. That's all. I just wanted to get that out there, and hopefully we can help them out.
Great. Excellent. Thank you, Mr. DeCoste.
And I'm sorry to as long as we're stretching this meeting out, as all of you know, my family was in exactly the same position about 18 years ago, and Littleton came through for us in a big way. It's one of the reasons why we are so involved and want to give back to the town. And I will also say insurance never cuts it. Like, those gift cards are going to be much appreciated. They need everything. Like, CVS was the first place we went because we needed diapers and toothbrushes. So thank you all for that.
Thank you, Matthew.
All right, great. Thanks. So that concludes our meeting for this evening. The select board will be back next Monday on May 24th. And so do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn, Madam Chair.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. All those in favor, Mr. Nordhaus,
Yes.
Mr. Knox,
Aye.
Mr. Glaby,
Aye, go Bruins.
Mr. DeCoste,
Chuck DeCosta's eye.
and Cindy Napoli is aye. And that concludes our meeting for this evening. Good night, Cheryl. Thanks for staying. Thanks
Good
for your
night.
help.
Good night, everybody.